What if the wheel of fortune you spin weren't for trinkets or triumphs, but for the unmaking of worlds? A gacha's gleeful grind birthing legions from the void, each summon a shard of your shattered trust, forcing you to wager not gold, but the ghost of who you were before betrayal's blade kissed your back, echoing the rigged lotteries of ancient Rome's bread and circus riots, or the desperate dice rolls of POWs in Stalag's shadowed corners, where one lucky or cursed draw could crown you god or grave digger. Inhale the musty reek of dungeon depths laced with ozone from overclocked ether, taste the chalky grit of summoned stone on your teeth, feel the seismic hum of phantom armies mustering in your marrow like the earth's own overdue uprising, as levels climb not in valor's vault, but the voracious vortex of infinite chance, unearthing the primal query. Does power mend the maimed, or merely multiply the monsters we mirror? This is the roulette of retribution in my gift LVL 99.99 Unlimited Gachas Episode 3, Lord of Destruction, Hametsu no O, which slotted into screens on October 17, 2025, accelerating the Abyss arc's vengeful velocity, where protagonist Light's fall from grace transmutes into an ascent armored in absurdity, his once mocked gift now the gambit against a globe that deemed him disposable. It reels you in with a time skip's tantalizing tease, the boardroom of betrayers blooming into a banquet of comeuppance, yet holds its high roll hidden, a half-pulled lever-dangling doom. Have you ever cranked that crank in life's lottery, pulse pounding like a jackpot's prelude, soul suspended between the sweet sting of settling scores and the sour suspicion that victory's veneer veils a void? The episode embodies that gamble, its chimes chiming just shy of the cascade, suspense a silver coin flipping in slow motion, curiosity the compulsive itch to yank again, luring you to the table where one more spin might summon not just salvation, but the apocalypse you've always half-hoped to unleash, building from Episode 2's subterranean scramble, where Light's lifeline latched onto May's maidclad might amid the abyss's abyssal appetites, their nascent nexus a fragile foil to the surface's festering forgetfulness. This episode fast-forwards 3 years like a skipped reel in a heist film's hasty haze, evoking the accelerated afterlives of Groundhog Day's looped laments turned lethal. Now a nexus of nigh invincibility, Light lurks in labyrinthine luxury, his gacha's glut birthing a battalion of beasts and beauties whose levels laugh at limits, setting the stage for the first fateful fetch, a traitor's tentative tread into the trap, Geru's gilded grin curdling to grimace under the gaze of godlike guardians. May's meticulous machinations mask as mundane, while lesser lackeys like impish imps and faux Fenrers fend off frivolities. The denouement a declaration that detonates the dam, war's whisper widening to worldwide wail. It catapults the arc from survival's simmer to conquest's cauldron. Cliffhangers clink a cadre of captives carded to the core, where judgment's jury convenes in crystal caverns. Can you not feel the fetid fog of that false Fenrer's fur brushing your brow? Hear the harmonious howl of henchmen harmonizing havoc, igniting the insatiable spin to see the slots align before the betrayer's beg shifts to broken ballad. Episode 3 vaults the narrative with the velocity of a volatility spike, hurtling. Light's odyssey from orphaned outcast to overlord in waiting, where the time skip unveils his empire of ether-born elites, a revelation that twists the tale from personal perdition to planetary purge. Geru's ill-fated incursion, the inaugural installment of Ice Sky infamy, culminating in a cliffhanger of convened captives that cascades toward the light novel's Volume 1, Chapter 5, The First Retribution, where the dungeon's dominion expands to ensnare the envoys of enmity. Pacing Parley's precision, protracted in the prologue's power parade, akin to the ponderous build-up before the Godfather's baptismal bloodbath, frenetic in the faux-fur fiasco that froths to fury, dramatic equipoise, exquisite equilibrium that interlaces introspection with incursion sans indigestion. Fans fumble cloudy aspects, Light's ludicrous leveling leap, the gacha's granular gifts seeming god ex machina gratis, or Geru's groveling too gratuitous, but Light Novel Volume 1, Chapters 3 to 5 demystifies. His apex ascent stems from symbiotic synergy with summoned static stats, e.g. SUR rarity ceilings at 99.99, per the novel's appendix on gacha gradations, augmented by aura farming artifacts like the Bracelet of Youth that funnel EXP exponentially, debunking the human cap canard as a conspiratorial curb by non-human hegemonies, echoed in Chapter 4's racial reckonings. Geru's gutless genuflection, drawn faithfully from the source's psychological pulverization, isn't haste but deliberate despair dive, enriching the anime with the LN's unflinching on overpowered opulence's underbelly, beckoning back to the book's blueprint for the maestro mythos that multiplies might through mastery. Light doesn't ascend, he assimilates, his psyche a palimpsest of pilfered potentials, scars from the Concord's cull catalyzing a cold calculus that's transformative in its totality, choices to curate captives for chronic cruelty consistent with his calibrated cruelty yet surprising in strategic serenity, motivations metastasizing from mere mending to messianic malice, a mosaic of the man who once wished for warmth now now wielding worlds as whims. Garu, the gloating gladiator, crumbles from cocksure conqueror to quivering quarry, his hidden hubris, fueled by false flags of favor, unraveled in whimpering waves that humanize the heel, dialogues drenched in dawning dread that surprise with their synaptic shatter. May's maidservant mean masks martial mastery, her growth a subtle suture of servitude to sovereignty, choices like incognito incursions a consistent covenant of covert care, transformative as they temper Light's tempest. Power here is the gacha's grim gambit. Light's legion a lottery of lordship that probes morality's mutable main. Does dominion through draws democratize destiny, or despotize the drawn? Manifesting in Garu's grovel as a grotesque gospel of Getter's guilt? Sacrifice simmers in the summon's silent servitude, survival's siren clashing with hope's hazardous horde in the dungeon's democratized depths. Evident in Light's largesse to lackeys, a Promethean pledge evoking the gulag's grim gamblers wagering whispers for whispers of worth, where despair's dice yield to vengeance's velvet vice, much like revolutionaries' roulette in Robespierre's reign, interrogating. In a realm rigged by racial runes, can one pull redeem the rigged, or merely reload the revolver of reprisal? The abyss's augmented annexes and gacha's granular gradations deepen the ice-sky interstice, layering lore of maestro mandates, cultural curses capping human crests, per volume 1's interludes on etheric edicts, that complicate the cosmos with conspiratorial cleavages, enriching the ether with ethical entanglements while the surface's stratified societies tease transnational treacheries, transmuting the tapestry from trope-trod terrain to textured tableau where gifts gild as grievously as gilded guillotines. The script slots with surgical savvy, keen as a kino call, its poetry pulsing in the profane paeans where level 9999 lands like a loaded die's defiant dice, lines like Garu's gutted gasp carrying the gut punch gravitas of Scarface's say hello to my little friend, flipped to farewell, foreshadowing floods of fallout while reverberating in the roll credits reverie like a rigged roulette's reluctant reset. Impactful, ironclad against ice-sky's inanities, even May's murmured missives arrive with Maid's meticulous mirth, evoking the elliptical exhortations of Alice in Wonderland's whimsical warrants, each enunciation an ember of the endless. I harbored Garu's groveling gasps, there yank a yoke on my yoke. When did a traitor's truncated testament last tangle with the tidal truths in your own tallied trespasses, coiling you to replay, to re-roll the rhetoric before it reduces to rubble? Art direction deals in dungeon's dubious dyes, obsidian opulence veined with victorious violet, lighting lacerating legions in liminal luminescence that opposes the oppressor's ochre ooze, shadows slithering like suppressed summons in stasis that surges. To skirmishes spasm, fluidity in faux fenrir phrase a fantasia of ferocity forged in fortune. Beauty binds as bittersweet, symbolism sculpting sorrow's sacrament where palettes play parses the poignant pull of power's parlor tricks, gliding glissandos through grotto's gloom heighten the horde's hallucinatory haze, compositions cramming confrontations in chiaroscuro clutches akin to Casino Royale's card-sharp canvases, editing's ebb a euphoric escalation, lingering low angles lulling into, lightning lashes that lash back with your own lactic burn, tension tempered taut as a tumbler's turn, your gaze grappled by the gamble that it scarred me, this spin, a searing seepage of supremacy and subjugation, retribution's roulette roiling with the relentless reckonings I've rolled in my own rigged reckonings, wonder whipped in the wealth-won wisdom like will-o'-the-wisp after wager's wail. Moments maul indelibly, that confluence of cull and coronation, a rupture where ranks rend the realm, realigning rivalries into requiem's redemptive, raw as the reckoning in a roulette wheel when rudders yield not wreckage, but the why of the wager. It invokes immutable interrogations, identity's inexorable inkling, as in Dostoevsky's Gambler's gnawing gnosis, lingering like litanies. In pulling the powerful, do we pull ourselves from perdition, or plunge the pulled into our pit? You palpate the pull's proximity, do you not? The phantom pressure of a payout on your palm, the paroxysm of a prophecy proffered? It's no nominal narrative, it's necromancy, notching with notions that nestle in your night's nautical hush, necessitating the next notch until the narrative navigates you anew to BY reverse reading, the episode's alacrity. Ascendancy asserted abruptly, Garu's gutting gratuitous in its glee, might murmur as manic misfires, pacing's pyretic pulses perilously proximate to pandemonium's pandering. Yet reconceive, these are no narrative nubs, but deliberate draws, rapidity rooted in the LN's relentless rhythm, Volume 1's revenge rush, thematic torches twining triumph's torrent with transitional tension, convolution a cauldron complicating catharsis. May's mask occasionally outpaces the master's mantle, a judicious jab, it accelerates the arc's allure, eluding ennui, albeit ancillary arcs averting fuller fruition. Acclaim predominates. Amid adventure isles awash in artifice, this surge sublimates, transfiguring trifles into transcendental talismans. Lord of destruction, surges in symbiotic splendor, narrative nerve navigating the nebulous, aesthetics animating the abyss, ephemeral eddies eclipsed by a script that summons sirens, infirmity's faint flickers in the firmament. It incarnates the Chronicle's creed, not perfunctory pulls, but the pilgrimage through the profundities we plumb, where protagonists eclipse party not in nullification, but in the humane heresy of honoring the horizon. I intuit inundations intensifying toward the envoy's end anon. Yet evoke this, evocateur, as the screen's sable submerges and that ultimate undertow undulates unyielding. Will you evade the ellipsis's entreaty, or embrace the eddy that's been etching your ethos since the gacha first gleamed? The slots beckon, your spin begins with the surrender.